Hello, my name is Cheryl Erickson and I'm the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today in Developing ECE Curriculum, we'll look at Chapter 5 and again we'll focus on curriculum framework in that chapter. But before we get started, just a reminder to read your Chapter 5, as this video is not a replacement for your chapter readings. So again, we've talked a little bit about curriculum framework already in previous chapters, and curriculum framework is something that has been developed across Canada, and it is used for early learning programs. The purpose of it is it's a document that's going to support early learning professionals in creating a pedagogical focus to learning with young children. And so we want to ensure that as ECEs within our centers that we are following that framework, because it is a guide that's going to help us ensure that we are providing young children with quality care within those early learning environments. So we have a few different types of curriculum programs that have been developed that again fall under your curriculum framework, so to speak. And so there's two types of models, and one is the social pedagogical approach. And so this approach has been taken from Uri Brofran-Brenner's bioecological system again. And so this is an approach that really looks at children and the individual child in terms of planning a curriculum and activities based on things that the children are interested in, or it stems from the child. In that learning approach. And so again, you know, children learn best when they're interested in something in their environment. And so it could be people, places, things within their environment. It could be past experiences and things that they may be going through now within their environment, but it is child-centered and child-focused types of learning. The pre-primary approach learning is more focused on teaching children preset types of curriculum, and it's mostly used for in the school approach. So getting children ready for kindergarten, school readiness approaches. And so we're very much more inclined to adopt the social pedagogical approach within early learning programs and daycare programs. Curriculum framework, again, you know, it's been designed for us as ECEs to really make us dig deep, think about you know, all the factors that are involved in working with young children in those formative years, how we can really promote those big ideas, how we can work to promote the overall development of that child. And so, you know, we look at different types of things within that environment. And of course, the focus on curriculum framework is that children learn through play. And something that's come out of that framework in the last few years is uninterrupted free play. And so in the daycare's daily schedule, we ensure that we have enough uninterrupted free play for the children, because uninterrupted free play gives them the opportunity to really extend, really get involved in that play, and within that a lot of different learning opportunities will come out of it, or also not just learning opportunities, but a lot of opportunities for them to really for the children to dig dig deeper in their thought process and their thinking process and experimentation, problem solving. So all those critical thinking skills that we want children to develop come out of that uninterrupted free play. And what I mean by uninterrupted free play is where adults used to stop children's play. We would transition them into the next thing. So children would have free play and we would stop them and say, okay, now it's time for circle. Now it's time for this activity. Now we want to have uninterrupted free play where adults aren't stopping play, whether it's indoors or outdoors. We want to just give them the opportunities to let that play go and let them enjoy it and have fun and have the benefits from that play. So I did also say outdoor play because that's a really big part of curriculum framework is children need to get outside daily, and that's Manitoba's curriculum framework, or it's also called early returns, is to allow the children to have as much opportunity to play outside in nature, which is really going to expand their thinking and their knowledge. And so we want to ensure that we are being successful in this implementation of curriculum framework. And so again, you know, as staff within the daycare environment, we need to sit down on a regular basis and evaluate our program and ensure that it is best meeting the needs of the children. So the slide that we're currently on is a survey of the Canadian provinces and their particular frameworks. And so you can see that most of the provinces, with the exception of Newfoundland, have established their curriculum frameworks. Going back to 1997 would be the one that has been established the longest, and that is within Quebec. You can see that it's a really strong practice within the provinces of Manitoba, and there's a lot of dedication to the commitment to early childhood education and how important it is to start children off in a positive learning environment at a younger age. Ours in Manitoba is called Early Returns, and we've talked about you know, the early returns, or the return on investment in previous chapters, previous textbooks. And so the basis of, you know, children coming into education environments at a young age is that it allows them the opportunity to really interact, get involved, build on their development, their skills. In childcare centers, we look at developing the whole child. We look at providing opportunities in the different curriculum areas, 7 different curriculum areas. So what that is doing, it is helping the children reach their developmental milestones, setting them up for success in the preschool years so that they're going to be ready to start their education when it comes to kindergarten, and that'll allow them to be successful through their education process in life. Early returns also means that we are screening at the preschool level as well. So we're getting to know the children through our day-to-day interactions. And if there's things that we're noticing where children aren't meeting those developmental milestones, we are getting the supports that are needed to them at that younger age. And again, that helps them be successful in kindergarten. So in the past years, before all this structure was set up, typically children would head to school, and at the school in kindergarten they would realize that there was some type of delay or disability, and so then things were delayed till school. So now we pre-screen and we get the children ready, we get all those supports in place, and they're ready to go for when school starts. And so that children are all getting to school basically at the same rate. They're all at the same level. And it makes it a more positive education experience. So a really good thing that this curriculum framework has been developed and structured. It's an ongoing type of document, a living document, so it's always going to be added to or changed, as well as we learn more information. We also know that these types of documents come from the fact that, you know, here we are in 2019, we know so much more than we did in the past about the development of young children and what's important and what types of focuses we need to work on. And it's also so much is involved in the process of early childhood education as well. And so more emphasis is going on the quality of care, and so much has changed as far as the education and the structure of what ECEs are, that we're best able to meet those needs of the children. So it's a really important practice for sure. There's been a lot of changes as well when we look at Aboriginal children, and so we have had a Aboriginal curriculum framework constructed as well since the mid-90s. And so this is a really important tool as well, because it's focusing on early years education for Aboriginal children, and where, you know, we have gone wrong in the past. As far as making sure that our Aboriginal children are achieving the best quality care and the best education as well. And so First Nations communities, well, how this started is First Nation communities have realized that the education system for their children hasn't been effective. We haven't had as many Aboriginal children graduating from high school. In the communities, there hasn't been great access to education as well. And so we know that to be successful in education, it really stems from experiences in those early years. So what has happened is that Head Start has resulted from different studies, and this initiative of Head Start started in reserve and is now offered in off-reserve communities. So we have a few Head Start programs here in Winnipeg as well. And so these programs maintain culture and tradition and language, so they really focus on that and making sure that children understand where they're coming from, what their culture is, keeping that language, teaching that language and keeping that a big part of their community and their environment, as well as focusing on the importance of education and getting children ready for school. So there are 6 components to the Aboriginal curriculum framework, from culture and language, education, social readiness, health and promotion, nutrition, social supports, as well as really promoting that family involvement. And so family involvement means that parents have to commit to so many hours volunteering within that Head Start community. So it's really making parents, connecting parents to that program as well, and teaching them what the importance of that program is as well. And so the culture and language component is designed to provide children with experiences. A lot of language has been lost over the past 10, 20 years. Language, like I said, language has been lost, and so there's been a lot of focus on teaching language again to the children, because that's a really important part of who they are and where they've come from. And so we want to keep those languages alive and teach children those languages as well. We also want to ensure that children are screened for health. And so the Aboriginal curriculum framework ensures that we're doing some initial health screenings, dental health, those physical health checklists every day to ensure that children are looking healthy, that we're teaching them how to brush teeth, we're teaching them how to eat healthier, we're providing them with a strong, healthy menu, we're making the program enjoyable for them, and that they're learning and growing and they're thriving. So that's a really great opportunity, again, for children to connect socially with other children in their community that are similar culture, or here in Manitoba or in Winnipeg, where we're offering not only First Nation but Métis as well culture. So really making that an important practice for children, not only to keep their culture but to get them ready for school. So as professional ECEs, we do have responsibilities not only to our curriculum and the curriculum framework. We have responsibilities to the children and the families that we're caring for. And so the curriculum refers to how we as ECEs are planning our programs and our experiences, that our environment is aligned with the center's goals, with the center's philosophies, with the center's daily program. We want to make sure that, again, our program is meeting the needs of all children, and that is culturally relevant, diverse, inclusive. So we really want to make sure that our focuses are on those practices well. It's a thinking document as well, so it's a guide for us, a tool for us as ECEs to ensure that we're following our goals, our values, our principles, looking at our how we are being effective as pedagogical leaders in constructing that learning with children. It's also, designed to make sure that our environment is child-centered, our environment is child-focused, and our environment is again family-centered. So we look at those three different dynamics, which are really important, again, to the overall effectiveness of our program in developing that whole child. Some more professional responsibility when it comes to curriculum and curriculum framework is that it offers a variety of assessment strategies for us to think about as ECE professionals. So, we're looking at how we can deliver information not only to the children, to the families, as well as connecting with our coworkers, our team effectiveness. So we're looking at different types of approaches, and that's through learning stories that can be shared within our environment, picture documentations, posting that up within the center, using our webs as well, which when you look at webs is really a team approach, and we're all as a group of ECEs documenting the interests that we're seeing coming out of the children, and noting that on a bulletin board within the center, and we're constantly adding and expanding to that, making those anecdotal notes available as team members, so some type of communication book where we can document what we're noticing within the program, again, children's interests, family information as well that helps us best care for the children. We're creating portfolios. We're doing observations on the children, and so this all helps again to not only meet the needs of the children, but portfolios show growth. So it shows where the child was when they came into the program, to where they are, after 6 months, after a year. And so those portfolios can be pictures of physical growth, and it could be documents of their work in progress to show how they're learning and growing and developing. So it's a really cool process, and it's very inspiring as ECEs to really use all these different tools to create documents, to create a framework that's very positive within that environment. And even just showing samples of children's creation and work is a great tool to use within the environment and to share with parents. Makes the child feel good. It's a really good self-esteem builder. But it's also there for not only parents to see, but for colleagues to see as well. Implications for practice. So in order for curriculum framework to be successful, we need to implement 3 different conditions, or these 3 different conditions have to be present. So well-qualified, motivated staff. They've been trained to understand development. They know what the curriculum framework is. They know that that framework is aligned with the center's goals, philosophy. They have follow that child-centered, child-focused type of program. Want to continually build on their skills, want to continually learn is really important. So they also want to be adequate investment in building outdoor play environments and human resources, including our ratio. So all these factors that come into play for quality care are important in that investment to building. So you want to ensure that your ratios are always met. You're wanting to ensure that you're always adding to that in program, especially that outdoor play program, because a lot of outdoor play activities or promotion stems from qualities that come from the ECEs, things that they're physically doing within that environment, physical adaptations that are there to meet the needs of the children, to support the children's interest in learning and growing. We also want to ensure that you're monitoring processes and support systems. So within your center information, how can we successfully communicate to our families, to the members involved within our daycare environment? We want to improve the quality and the accountability of our program. So improving the quality is something that is huge within our environment, and what is deemed as quality care has been a topic for discussion with a lot of ECEs, and it's not just lower adult to child ratios. The quality of care is going to come out in your pedagogical leadership within that environment, and so that is really, really huge in terms of what each unique individual ECE is going to offer to that program. And so that does conclude Chapter 5 of your ECE curriculum, or Developing ECE Curriculum. Please do see your instructor if you have any questions regarding Chapter 5, also just to check in to ensure you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 5.